Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree Buonomo. We're back with a vlog. I have been struggling to do YouTube, and most of that is because I've been very busy in my personal life. I've been planning and helping my friend with her wedding. So we did the bridal shower and the bachelorette party, and that was a getaway bachelorette party. So I had a lot of planning and doing things to make sure that my house and my home was good while I was gone for a weekend. And it's been a lot of fun, but it has definitely made it hard for me to actually sit down and do YouTube. And I haven't really wanted to vlog, not gonna lie. But I haven't been doing nothing with writing, which is great. So I have been making myself like accountable and trying to hold myself to deadlines so that way I can query in September like I want to. But of course, life happens. I have this whole thing written out with like how many chapters I should do per week in order to give myself a week buffer in June before I dive into the next edits in July. It also buffers my critique partners, so that way they have a little bit of flexibility on reading and giving me feedback. But I completely took off last week. It is currently Monday, the 19th of May, and I had all these plans of getting ahead last week because especially I took off Tuesday. So I had the 12th as a travel day. And I got home around like 4:30 back in my area. My husband picked me up from the airport. We went out to dinner, and then like I just kind of vegged out. And I expected to be able to like bounce back on Tuesday, get some cleaning done, and then do writing because I took that day off. No, that's not what happened. I ended up like being a zombie that entire day. I had to take a nap. I was like ready for bed at 6:30. I went into bed physically at like 6:45, and I like forced myself to like try to stay up till 8:30 at least. And I read, but I was not okay. And then that just kind of mentality continued all last week. Like I couldn't motivate myself. I was so sluggish. I was so tired. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And then similarly, like when I got the weekend, I had no real plans, but then suddenly like all these things came out of nowhere, and that also kind of wrecked my motivation. So here we are, Monday, May 19th, and I am determined to actually get shit done this week because not only do I now have to do 4 chapters from last week, I also have 4 chapters for this week. And that means I have to do 8 chapters by Saturday in order to stay on top of my deadline. And truthfully, I want to do that. I don't want to be farther behind. Like if it was 1 or 2 chapters, that would be different, but I missed the whole week last week. And I am determined to stay on my deadline. I was doing so well for the first 2 weeks, and now we're here. And unfortunately, I think like the chapters I have to do are chapters 11 through 18. And these are my middle sections where I really need to bulk up and make sure that the timelines and things are good, and make sure that the change from maybe somewhat charming and inviting to a little bit sinister start to play through with my vampire and my character motivation. I need to make sure both of their motivations are being clear and concise. And I started doing that in the last edits that I did, and I was really excited about it, but then I went away and that happened. So that's where we're at. This week is also going to be extremely busy for me. I am hosting people at my house on Friday, and that means I also have to like clean and get things ready throughout the rest of the week. I have book club tonight. I work late on Tuesdays. And Thursday, while that's probably the best day for me to clean, I am supposed to meet a friend after work because I have not hung out with her in like literally a month or 2. It's been so long. And yeah, that it kind of sucks here, you know? But we're gonna do it. So come with me as I get back my motivation and get productive, and we bang some chapters out. Hello friends, it is 4:40 on Monday night. So my day I did not have everybody at work today, but it was a very busy day. I could not sneak in any writing. I had a lot of like emails and letters to send and things like that. I had a lot of admin things today. And I also prioritized walking because I had an hour, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat and I'm going to walk, because one cancellation, I ended up swapping for a meeting. I couldn't attend it originally because I had a client, and then that client canceled. So we did that. And long story short, I'm home. It's 4:40. I only have 20 minutes before I have to start making dinner because dinner is going to take about 40 minutes to make. and I need it to be done pretty close to when my husband gets home because I have book club tonight. So I don't think I'm gonna write much at all. However, if you've been around, then you know Tuesdays are my late days, which means I have all morning. I wake up at 5 and I have from 5 to 9 to write. So I might be joining the 5 a.m. club once I get my dogs. Well, it might actually be like the 6 a.m. club, let's be real. I'm gonna wake up at 5 and I'm probably gonna do some writing at 6, but that's gonna be my goal because then Tuesday night I can kind of like clean and do shit like that. Because right now I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I think because I only have 20 minutes, I'm gonna take my dogs for a quick walk and I'm gonna clean a little bit tonight. I might clean some of the floors and things. I don't know. There's so much I have to do that my brain is starting to malfunction. The executive dysfunction's getting real. So I might just I might start from the ground up. Maybe I'll clean up the basement a little bit, get that started, and then I can focus on the floors and everything else. I don't know. I'm just rambling, but I'm just letting you know that as much as I want to get shit done, I don't think it's happening tonight. So we're going to clean and make dinner and go to book club and start really fresh tomorrow morning. So I'll probably check in then. Good morning, guys. It is just 6:30, so I'm a little bit behind schedule. By the time I usually get going in the morning after getting the grogginess and starting my coffee pot and taking the dogs out, it's usually 6:20, 6:30, and then I do drink my coffee in the morning and play a couple puzzles. I've cut down on my puzzles because my puzzles were taking way too much time out of my life. I would be spending an hour every morning, and that was getting a little insane. But long story short, we are here in the morning and I have 2 agendas today. So I obviously do need to work on my editing. The nice thing is I think I can sneak some time in throughout the day today, and I'm going to be I'm not going to talk about that as much on here, so shh, don't tell people. But I'm going to probably be able to sneak in some editing later in the day, throughout my day, if you catch my drift, which means that currently we're going to start on chapter 11. So if I could do that, ideally today, if I could get through chapter 14, which is my goal from last week, so 11 through 14, which is 4 chapters, then I should be able to get the next 4 chapters, 15 through 18, done by Saturday. Of course, I don't know exactly how deep these are going to be because like I said, I know last chapter, so chapter 10, I needed to do some heavy edits. But either way, I guess we'll find out how deep these edits are going to be. I know there are some things I have to change and some things I want to beef up, but we'll see. So I am going to use the walk pad today. I already set it up and I'm ready to go. I'm also going to check in with one of my CPs because we were going to do accountability sprints today. So I'm going to message them on Discord. And in between, so what I think I'm going to start off with as a little warm up. So my CP said that there is a horror specific pitch contest on Twitter or X coming up in June. And I have not made pitches like that in years. Pit Mad was the one I used to always go for because it was the biggest one on Twitter back in the day. And then they went, they stopped doing it. And so I haven't been as on top of what contests are out there. But given that this is horror specific and I have everything ready to go, it might not be perfect right now, but I could send the working document. I have up to, hopefully, by the time June 13th comes around, because it's on June 13th, my book will almost be fully edited because June 14th is the final, the second to last week. So from the 8th to the 14th, I should be up to chapter 28. My last week, I should only have 29 to 33. So in theory, should I get a like from this contest, right, I can bang out these chapters and send my full 3rd draft, which would be great because I do know that there's a lot of structural things I need to change. So I'm rambling to say that I am going to work in the next week. I'm also going to work on some pitches and get ready for that contest. My priority is going to be editing, but I figured as a little warm up, I can do a pitch, a tweet, and see how my brain is reacting to that because it's been so many years since I have tried to make pitches. And I'm going to do that as a warm-up, and then I'm going to focus mostly on the writing, which I actually have to move my desk up because I realized that this is standing and not my, whatchamacallit. It doesn't have my walk pad. This is my walk pad height, thankfully. Okay, so we're going to go do that. So I'm going to try to get a pitch done, and then for the next hour, I'm going to see how far I get into the edits as well. I think I could get a pitch and 1 chapter done in an hour. I know it's a stretch. But if I could get I don't think I'm going to get all 4 chapters done, let's be real. But if it was possible to get all 4 chapters done in 2 hours, then I might be able to get like most of my editing for this week done today. But we'll see. We don't want to get too crazy here. So, all right, I'll check in later. All right, let's go. Okay, guys, we're at the hour mark. It's 7:36 now, and I have not edited anything. I am going to get 1 chapter at least done. I think I was a little too ambitious, but I got really hyper fixated on crafting pitches for this Twitter contest. That is weeks away. But if I get them done now, then we'll be good when the time comes. And I was throwing some back and forth with my critique partner, and they were giving great like input, and like, I started off very vague as I normally do, but I started to get a little bit more like clear as we went. So I currently have 3 out of 4 crafted. So I might still tweak some things or think about it, but I'm excited for where we're going with this. So I'm gonna take a quick break to go get some food. I'm gonna make a muffin, I think, just real quick. And then I'm gonna edit 1 chapter. Probably that's all I'm gonna get to. And then I'm gonna have to go in and start getting ready for work. But we're moving and things are happening, at least. I went from feeling like I'm not gonna get anything done to actually working today. Hi friends, okay, it is 8:45. I have to go shower and then go right to work. But I successfully wrote 3 pitches, got some feedback from the CP, and I edited chapter 11 fully. So I'm feeling really good. Chapter 11, I only had to add a little bit here and there to my liking. I am interested to see, because so far what's been going on, my CPs have been saying that like, oh, my words are good and the writing is good. It's not really like a ton of crazy stuff to add. But occasionally they'll be like, oh, I'd love to have more description or more inner thoughts or more this. So this might be a chapter where they will ask some of that. I can see it happening, but I'd like to get their feedback so I can specifically add things rather than just guessing which parts should have more internal dialogue or reactions or stuff like that. But I really like chapter 11. I like the subtleties as well, like the manipulation being there, that like Victor is saying things that make sense, but it makes sense from a place of trauma and not necessarily like actual sense. So I feel like that chapter's good. I can't wait for my CPs to actually get into it and give feedback. But yeah, right now I'm feeling pretty good at where we're at. We'll get to chapter 12 later, and I will update you at the end of the day depending on where I'm at. I do need to get going though, or else I'm going to be late for work. So I feel that this is a successful morning so far, and yeah, we're ready to go. It is about 7:30 on Tuesday night, and I am very happy to report that I am now up to chapter 16. You heard me right. So that means I can officially mark off last week, and I got through chapter 15 today. So I have 16, 17, and 18 to get through by Saturday, and that seems a little bit more manageable. I definitely had less, I think, to add or at least edit in these chapters. There were a few things that took me a little bit longer, particularly chapter 12, because I had to decide if I was keeping certain background information or if I was going to change the nature of the conversation, which I decided to do. I decided to take it into a different route. We kind of accomplished a pretty big goal today, and I'm excited about that. But I also have an update with the submissions. I wanted to live react with you guys. So last month, I ended up entering the Once Upon a Book Box contest. They hold this contest every year, and it's you submit a writing sample, and then from the pool that they get, you may get picked to write an exclusive short story for their advent calendar. So they do their own book. There's 12 authors. Those 12 authors get to write a short story that has to do with an item in the box. And that's the whole premise. But I've submitted the last 2 years and I have not got picked. I am not holding my breath this year again because they posted yesterday on their Instagram that it was a very tight competition. There was a lot of great submissions and they needed an extra day to announce the winners. So it was supposed to be announced yesterday. And I think I saw maybe a half hour ago that I got the email, but I've been managing my expectations because I'm excited, but like, we'll see. So I figured either way, I'm excited because I don't know what it's going to be, but if it's a tight competition at the end of the day, like if someone writes better than me, then they deserve it. I did put 2 samples in this year. I've not done that before, but I did a fantasy sample and I did a horror sample. So I'm excited to see what it is, but yeah. All I could see in this thing was that we had more entries this year than any other year. I feel like this is a trend because they also had more last year. So, all right, let's open this bad boy up. Oh, this is not what I expected, but this is exciting. Okay, so I didn't get picked, but okay. It says, thank you so much for entering our 2025 Advent Calendar Writing Contest. We had more entries this year than any other. And while we're so excited to have so many interested authors, unfortunately, we are only limited to selecting 12 to be featured in our annual novella. After much deliberation, your entry has made it to the final rounds of cuts, and we really enjoyed reading it. For this reason, while we are unable to offer you an official spot as a novella author, we would love to offer you an alternate position for this year's novella collection in the event that one of our selected authors cannot fulfill their requirement. That's pretty damn close. That's pretty damn close. So I do have to respond, but absolutely, I'm gonna say yes. Like, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh. God. This means my writing's improving. This is the closest I've ever gotten in this competition. And with the fact that we had way more entries and I'm an alternate, I think that's a win. I think that's a win in my book. Okay. This was good. This was a nice little treat. Obviously, I would have been like, yeah, you're picked, but like real close. Final cuts. Who is she? Okay, well, I'm gonna end this clip here. I think I'm just excited and I'm gonna go gloat for a second that like we're getting somewhere in the world. All right, thank you so much for sharing this little moment with me. I will come back tomorrow and let you know where I'm at with all the rest of my edits this week. Hello friends, hi, it's me. I wanted to give a little preview of the fit. I don't know if you guys can even see this, but I'm heading out to work because it's Tuesday, May 27th, and I needed to wrap up this vlog. As it used to be, like I used to feel like I was like getting better at vlogs, and then, life gets busy and I'm back to being like, oh, I'm gonna remember to vlog, and then I don't. But we're here. I did catch up with all of my writing. So my deadline goes every week from Sunday through Saturday. So by Saturday, the 23rd, I only had to do my chapter 18, which was the 2 weeks, like from chapter 11 to chapter 18, that would have covered all the stuff I was behind on. I ended up finishing that on the 24th. But I feel good about it because I had a long weekend and I was able to squeeze in time despite having a bunch of other things to do. And I'm especially happy about that because I kind of like took myself out on a reward, essentially. I went to this lunar fair and a cidery in New Jersey and it was really fun. It was just a really nice night. But I had a very busy Sunday and Monday. And I thought I was gonna vlog some of that and like put it as like a little compilation. And for me, I'm glad that I was pretty disconnected from my phone. For you guys, you got no vlog footage at all. But if you're interested in some of the things that I did, I do usually post some photos and stuff on my Instagram. So that's linked down below if you want to go follow me over there and just see like some of the random pictures I take of my life. I tend to do on Instagram updates on writing, reading, and random life stuff. So if you're interested, you can follow me down there. I'm a little bit more consistent with posting things over there, but even that suffers from my attention span. So long story short though, this vlog was a success. I was able to catch up to where I wanted to be and I feel good about that. I even was able to get caught up on my CP work, which I was also procrastinating because I had so much going on. So now we are back on track. We have just 4 more weeks of writing until I meet my deadline, which is pretty wild. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I am going to keep trying to be vlogging, and I have a couple ideas, both reading and writing vlogs, that I am going to be doing throughout the month of June and July. So I am really excited to do those. I have some times planned, and I'm hoping that the timeline will allow me to get those videos out all in full by the end of July. So yeah, look forward to that. And for now, I'm going to leave you with this. If you had a successful week in whatever that means for you, leave me a little butterfly emoji. Or you could just tell me how your week went. So thanks for sticking around, guys. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.